Raise your hand if you've ever felt this way. What if I regain weight back after surgery? I've come so far and worked so hard. I don't want to give up and lose everything now. I can feel myself slipping, but I don't want to fail. Do any of these sound familiar? If any of these fears keep you up at night with anxiety, spiraling and staring into the ceiling, I want you to know that you're not alone. In fact, these anxieties are what I see most common in post-op women, whether it's 3 months out and hitting a stall for the first time, 18 months, or after 2 years. That's when these fears really creep back in. But here's the good news. Regain is not inevitable. It doesn't have to happen to you. And even if you're seeing weight coming back right now, I want you to know that you can still take and maintain control. Today's video, friends, has 4 breakdown steps. You should stick around because today I am going to break down why regain happens, because it's not that you're just failing. How to spot the warning signs before anything spirals out of control, a quick win that you can implement today, and the long-term game plan for success for life. And for even more weight loss surgery content, tips, strategies, stories, success stories, challenges, a little bit of travel, Disney magic sprinkled in, I hope you will consider subscribing here. This is a safe and supportive community that's built on the platform of empowering each other and giving you real life knowledge and tips for life before and after weight loss surgery. If you're new here, hi, I'm Chelsea. My goal is to help women thrive after weight loss surgery without restriction. If you're looking to break free of the cycle of dieting, regain anxiety, and more, I want to help you do that. So stick around, subscribe, let's get into it. We're gonna play a little bit of Mythbusters to start. Regain is not just about falling off track or simply not trying hard enough. It's actually a combination of several things. The first is body adaptation, where your metabolism adjusts to your new way of living. If you're in the weight loss surgery process or you've been through it, you know that in the first year, your weight comes off very quickly. And that is often due to the restriction of not only caloric intake, but of portions. Metabolic shifts are underway and your weight melts off. In some cases, not all. Over time, in a healthy way, your body adapts, which is why we don't stay at that lowest number, that lowest weight, 18 to 24 months out. Your metabolism slows slightly, and ghrelin, your hormone hunger, makes a resurgence into your life. This can happen at like week 2 or more commonly around like the 3-month mark. But honestly, it's coming back even though you think it won't. This is both normalizing and a good thing. It's a healthy thing, but also wildly frustrating. And I understand that. I actually have a video all about our hormone hungers, the cues, the triggers for them, why they return, how they're helpful so that you can reframe it for yourself. I will leave that linked for you here. In addition to your metabolism stabilizing, another reason for regain is that old habits creep back in. At first, the structure of surgery and the week by week diet plan post-op make it really easy to lose weight and keep losing weight. But as life gets busy, stress happens, your hormone hunger returns, we can fall back into patterns if we haven't learned to identify and break them. When surgery isn't new, fresh, or exciting anymore, these habits are things like emotional or binge eating or routine snacking without a protein. They can add to easily the regain. And because your portions are small, you may not even be aware that it's happening. A third reason for regain is the emotional and mindset struggle that everyone I have ever known who's been overweight deals with. Whether you deal with it or not, you're still experiencing it. I'm going to speak from my personal experience as well as several, but not all of my clients. Food was a coping mechanism for me for years, nay, decades. After surgery, when I couldn't use food as a coping mechanism, I felt that internally. I struggled with that. Surgery does not erase the need or want to binge or emotionally eat. It simply doesn't allow you to fit what you want in your pouch during those intense feelings, the processing of what you're going through internally. So self-sabotage, which I think anyone who's ever been on a failed diet experiences, your mean girl voice, right? If you've been to one of my masterclasses, you know all about Bianca. And in general, not feeling worthy of long-term success because you've never succeeded before can play a huge role in regain. Your mindset matters. I'm not sure if I should share this with you or not because I am a bariatric coach. But that doesn't mean that I don't fall prey to all of what we're talking about. I challenge myself to identify early and then adapt as needed. So earlier in the fall, I shared in a video that every single winter I gain what I call my hibernation weight. It's like 6 to 8 pounds of blubber that my body puts on and then sheds in the spring, and I challenged myself not to gain that this year. I did break a stall much earlier. In the fall, I had a 1 pound weight loss. And that doesn't sound crazy or like a lot, but I have been out of surgery for almost 6 years. So losing a pound in a week instead of a fraction of a pound or nothing at all was a really big deal. So I want to share the story where I'm standing in front of the mirror that I often take photos in on Instagram stories of my outfits. And I went to put on a pair of white jeans. I wear white jeans year round, okay? Don't come for me. Don't come for me in the comments. Throughout the summer, throughout the fall, and even the beginning of winter, those jeans fit me perfectly. And as I'm pulling them on in this particular morning, they were snug. And so initially, my mind goes to, well, it's water weight, it's your period, etc. I'm trying to make excuses because I think clothes don't lie. But inside, I knew I had been slipping. Despite my promise to you, my public promise to you about not gaining that weight, I knew that I hadn't been doing what I needed to do in order to not only prevent that weight from coming on, but maintain. So where I tend to slip is with my water intake, with sleep. I do usually get my protein goals. I talked about that in a Bariatric Besties video with my sister when we were in California. I tend to meet my protein goals every day, but I also had become less vigilant about supplements, not my multivitamin, but all of the other ones that keep me energized and on track. So I was feeling lethargic. I wasn't getting enough water in. I had reintroduced Diet Coke back into my life without a balance. So I was slipping. I was not walking the walk that I should be for my clients and students. And that fear, despite all my mindset work, that fear of, I broke it. What if I'm going backwards instead of forwards? How can I make a career out of coaching when I can't take my own advice? That crept back in. So if you've been struggling, I want you to hear that it's not just you. This, unfortunately, is a totally normal part of the post-op weight loss journey. It's not linear. You don't have surgery and then watch the scale go down forever or flatline for the rest of our lives, especially as women who have hormones. It's not just you. It won't be perfect forever. And the key isn't, my love, it's not working harder. It's early identification and working smarter. That means we need a plan. But suffice it to say, I was able to pause the gain, and as of quite literally the morning that I'm filming this video, I have lost 4 pounds. Now, many people don't notice the regain because it's slight and sneaky until they feel like it's too late. But I want to give you some early warning signs so that you can catch it before it spirals. And the first one is your clothing. These jeans were my early warning sign. I wear them probably once a week, maybe once every other week. I sometimes wash them in between. Again, they're white jeans. You can't wash them every time. They will shrink to a size that I simply can't fit into. Jeans are a dead giveaway. Your bras, ladies, are a giveaway, especially because they do tend to stretch a little bit over time. If they're starting to feel tight in the back or your straps are starting to dig into you, that is an early warning sign. I also find this to be true in blazers, which I'm a big fan of, and jackets. So if you live in a colder area or you're wearing a blazer for work professionally or for fun because they're cute, if you start to feel it like tight in your shoulders or you can't get your arms all the way through, that's an early signal. Another early signal is your energy level. When you feel sluggish, when you feel dips in your energy, red flag. Ooh, and being bloated after you're eating. Because that could happen to you if you're someone who's hypersensitive to that. The beautiful human who does my hair, she can feel herself bloated. I don't know if I can, but I know what it looks like when it's happening, but I don't know if I always feel it. But if you're feeling bloated after eating, it could be because you're putting too much in your pouch at one time. A big one for me to catch early, aside from my clothes, are my cravings and my hunger cues. It's not so much my portion size, though larger portions would absolutely contribute. It's that I'm wanting to snack more, or I'm wanting to eat something that I know doesn't benefit my goals and doesn't normally challenge me on a day-to-day basis. That's usually a trigger for emotional eating rather than hunger. And the big one that we've all done is when you start avoiding the scale or avoiding mirrors, avoiding being in photographs. Your inside is trying to tell you something. So catching regain early makes it 100 times easier to fix. But now what do you do to fix it? I'm so glad you asked. If you're feeling off track, I want to offer you a simple reset. It's a 3-day reset that you can do literally today. Starting today, do it this week. The 3-day Bari Magic reset includes day 1 is your awareness check. I want you to sit down, make yourself a template, or make a dedicated space where you're going to keep this information, and I want you to do some tracking. Not caloric per se, protein, water, sleep, movement, no judgment. Just observation. You might think you're hitting your protein goals and then realizing that after a day of what you would consider like a normal intake, that you are 20 grams off. Or you might think, hey, I am doing such a good job drinking all of my water or moving my body. And then you look at a little pedometer and you're like, I only got 5,000 steps in today. So I just want you to jot down bullet points. No emotion, no judgment. Just data. Day 2 is our back to basics day. So we are gonna throw out all of the crazy things that you might have started implementing since surgery and get back to, strip it back to basics. Do you remember when Ina Garden used to do like the back to basics cooking specials? Oh, I loved those. But today we are focused on protein and hydration and maybe spacing those out a little bit longer than you usually do. I also want you, when you're eating your 3 protein meals and 2 protein snacks today, to not be distracted when you're doing it. So that means you're not eating in front of a television, you're not eating at your desk, you're not eating in the car. You are sitting down and creating a romanticized space for yourself, real cutlery, real napkins if you can, off of a plate, doesn't matter how big your portions are, right? Off of a plate. And you are going to mindfully smell your food, chew slowly, think about what you're ingesting, and I guarantee you're going to feel more satisfied, but then you're going to track how much protein you're actually eating, be super impressed with yourself, space out your next liquid 30 minutes plus, okay? 30 minutes. That's the buffer, the minimum buffer I want you to give yourself today. And day 3 is your structure reboot. How can you plan the rest of the week to feel as good as day 2? Can you plan meals, snacks ahead of time? I have a little area in my fridge that I think of as like the protein cafe. I should literally make a label for it. And it's just a Lazy Susan that has like cheese sticks, eggs, celery with peanut butter, or celery that I've like cut, washed, put into a thing so I can just put peanut butter on it. I have just this little area of choice for me. So when I go to get a snack, I'm like, oh, doesn't this look cute? It just makes me happy. Can you make yourself a protein cafe? That would be a really good Instagram reel idea. Can you set yourself a small, realistic movement goal? Is it 5 minutes, a micro movement of yoga, stretching, walking on a walking pad? Maybe it's nice enough for you to go outside and take a nature walk with your kids. Can you set some realistic expectations for the week? This works because it's not about punishment. Remember those days? Long gone. This is not about punishment. This is a gentle resetting of habits that have been proven and time tested that we know work. So we're going to re-implement them slowly and consistently. No guilt, no judgment, no extreme restriction. Before I jump into the long-term solution, I'd like to uplift us a little bit. Can we do this in the comments? What is one non-scale victory that you have had recently? We need a little joy. I know we've all felt like we've broken our weight loss surgery. So instead of focusing on something negative in the comments, unless you have a question, please put it down there. But is there a non-scale victory that's brought you joy? Let me know. Let me know. Here's the hard truth. When we regain, it's not because we don't know what to do. We know what to do not to regain. They regain because they don't have the right kind of support or accountability long term. That's exactly why the Coronation was born. The Coronation is my signature 12-week small group high touch support system that helps women not only not regain, but reverse their regain and stay successful long term. Inside of the Coronation, you are going to get 12 weeks. That's 3 months worth of very specific support and a community. This includes step-by-step guidance on preventing regain and creating a regain plan to make sure that you experience lifelong success. We also have live weekly coaching calls to keep all of us accountable on our plans and to address what's coming up for you in real time. The idea of the call is not only to provide you with strategies, tips, accountability, love, and support, but it's to tackle the struggles before they actually become real challenges. This is a private community with women who have been through it just like you, so you can have the support and the accountability that you need right now. And it's mindset, it's habit creation coaching, so that way you can be successful long after our 3 months are up. I don't want you to ever feel lost or alone on this journey. And the Coronation is one of the answers to that. Let me tell you a client story about my friend Jen. I've actually had several clients named Jen, so I think it's okay to use her first name. She's given me permission, obviously, but this won't identify her because there's more than one. Jen was thriving. She had RNY surgery and for 2 years lost and continued to lose, so much so that she wondered, would it ever stop? And at the 2-year mark, she started to struggle. Life for her became busy. She works a very high stress job, was up for a promotion. Everything piled on at once and she reverted back to, you guessed it, her old habits. I want to read for you what she shared with me. I'll put it on the screen here too. I told myself it was just a couple of pounds, then a couple more. Before I knew it, I was avoiding the scale because I was terrified of what it would say. The fear of regain for Jen was absolutely paralyzing. She felt like she had broken her RNY, that she was failing, and she had wasted her surgery. And that kind of shame kept her from reaching out for support because she wasn't sure where to go. When she went back to her clinic for blood work to see if there was something wrong with her thyroid, they made her feel badly. She joined Facebook groups for free and realized everyone in them was doing the same thing. They were all complaining or concerned about weight regain. And that sent her into a mental spiral. And then one day, she found me here on YouTube. We started messaging and emailing. And when the Coronation became available, she hopped on as a client. Jen said, From the very first call, I realized I wasn't broken. I just needed guidance. The tools, the check-ins, the mindset shifts. It was like a light switch flipped. With support, Jen was able to pinpoint the exact time and when and where, all of the details that she had started to slip. And what I'm most proud of for her is that she did this without judgment. I asked her some really hard questions in that call, and she was able to go back. I could see her backtracking to where this regain originated. Together, we helped her rebuild the habits that make her successful even now. And one of her big things was breaking free of the all or nothing mindset, that diet culture mindset that keeps us in a failure cycle. And she was able to do that. She lost her regain and began to feel confident in knowing that she would never regain ever again. Her last quote: "Before the coronation, I felt lost. Now I know I'm in control for life. This isn't just a program, it's a roadmap to forever success." Thank you, Jen, for letting me share your story today. If you've been struggling with the fear or anxiety of regain, or you're experiencing it right now and you don't know what to do next, I've got you. The coronation is where you're going to get the structure, the support, and the accountability that you need to be successful. Click the link in the description box below to learn more and join us. I am limiting the seats for this because I want to make sure that every single client gets what they need every single time we have the opportunity to interact. Let's recap. 1, regain is not a failure. It's just a sign that your body, your hormones, and your metabolisms are shifting. 2, the key is catching it early and having the right tools to implement. 3, if you want a proven support and you want community, the coronation is the place for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the coronation link in the description box below. I love you. I hope this was helpful for you today. If you try the Bari Magic 3-day reset, will you let me know in the comments? I love you. Goodbye, my friends.